continuing on the examples under simple discount for example 4 and 5. So basically, I checked the video and I've noticed that it stopped at the slide for example 4. So I haven't shown how do we go about in calculating for the discount rate. So we had the audio right there. I think it's not enough for us to properly understand what happened to that specific problem. So let me do again yung sa ating example 4. So again, sa example 4, yung problem is to determine the discount rate if 32,000 is the proceeds of a loan, 43,000 due in 16 months. And then again, we tried to identify the given on the problem. So yung given there is 32,000, which is actually the proceeds. And then yung F is going to be the amount of the loan, which is 43,000. And then T is actually the term of the loan, which is 16 months. And for the term of the loan, we try to convert it in years because the acceptable SI unit that we need to use sa ating formula is in years. So we just multiply our 16 months with 1 year over 12 months to come up with the value in years. So that's what we did. So yung maging value is 16 divided by 12, which is 1.3333 years. And then for the required, or which what is known sa ating problem, that would be the discount rate. So we use the variable d for that one. And also for the formula, we could actually use again two specific ways to go about sa problem natin. Just like what we have in example 3, we could try to find first the interest in advance by subtracting our amount of the loan with the proceeds, and after which we make use of the formula natin na na-come up with using the original formula for interest in advance to find our discount rate. So let's try to do that first. So yung ating formula that we could use is going to be I sub A is equal to F minus P, and then we could make use of the formula na T, not T but D, because that's what the value that we are looking for. D is equal to I sub A divided by FT. Yan. So ito, galing lang din to doon sa original formula for interest in advance or simple discount. So we just try to derive it doon sa formula that we could use so that we could actually calculate for the discount rate immediately. And then we make use of this one. So for the computation, we try to find first the interest in advance. So it will be interest in advance is equal to 43,000, which is our amount of the loan, minus our P, which is our proceeds. So it will give us 11,000. And then we make use of this one on this formula to find our D. So D is equal to I sub A divided by FT. And then our I sub A na nakalculate is 11,000. We make use of that one. And then yung F natin is actually 43,000. 43,000 times our term of the loan, which is 1.3333. And then it would be equal now to whichever value that we come up with by dividing this 11,000 sa ating 43,000, 1.33. But we try to calculate first for 43,000 times 1.33, or those values in the parentheses. So let me use the calculator for that one. So 43,000 times 1.3333 is 57,331.9. So 57,331.9. So make use of that one and then divide 11,000 with that. So 11,000 divided by 57,331.9, which would give us 0.19186. So we could just settle for 0.1919. So we could make use of that. And again, itong value is naka decimal form. So you wanted it to be expressed in percentage form. So if you want to do that, we are going to multiply this decimal value with 100%. So if we multiply that one with 100% now, it would give us 19.2. So we get 19.19% for our discount rate. So we could do this um, way or this process to find for the discount. So an alternative way naman is to make use of the formula for the proceeds. So if we are going to make use for the formula for the proceeds, that is going to be P is equal to F times 1 minus dt. And then we are going to equate a formula wherein this formula is going to give us immediately yung D using algebraic manipulation. So we are going to simplify this one. So kung i-simplify natin, i-distribute natin si F. So to each of the term, so it would be now F minus F dt. And the goal is to isolate yung ating D because that's a value that we are looking for. So if we do that, we are going to transpose F dt to the other side of the equation and then also P to the other side of the equation. So if we do that, it would be F dt is equal to F minus P. And then we want to isolate D lang. So we are going to divide both sides by Ft. So if we do that thing, it would just give us these formula, which is D is equal to F minus P divided by Ft, which is the formula that we could use to come up with nung ating value for discount. So let me use that one, no? Let me just copy this page so that we could erase some of the writings in there. So if we do that, um, let me go to that specific file. So ito yung file. So let me copy this file. So yan. Let me erase these writings so that we could, or I could show you yung formula for uh, the discount using the proceeds formula, and then show you how to go about it or how do we go about for the solution. So D is going to be equal to F minus P divided by Ft. And then, yung F natin there is again 43,000 minus yung P natin, which is 32,000, divided by Ft. So yung F there is 43,000 times our term, which is 1.33, excuse me, 3333. And then yung 43,000 minus 32,000 is 11,000. And then divide this one with 43,000 times 1.333. And then this is the value that we actually get kanina. So it's going to be 57,331.9. So 57,331.9. And again, these are similarities with the previous formula that we had, or previous computation that we have. It also divides our 11,000 with 57,331.9, which would give you the same value. So for this case, it's still going to be 19.19%. As you can see, we arrived to the same value. So practically, we could actually make use of either of the formulas. Okay? And then for the conclusion, of course, we need the conclusion out of the problem. We have to answer the problem. So for the answer, it would be that the discount rate, let's say, the discount rate is 19.19%. Or you could actually also include the values that we used. You could say the discount rate of the 32,000 proceeds with a loan of 43,000 during 16 months is going to be 19.19%. Okay? And then for the last example that I did not finish during the the previous recording because nag-stop na ang recording at that moment. Yung problem is ganito. So, where was the slide for that one? So, yung problem is ganito. Let me restate the problem. So yung problem is, for example, 5, find the amount of loan for 5 years and 7 months at 16 and 3/8% simple discount rate if its proceeds are 12,500. And again, we make use of the given on the problem. It's the first step that we need to do. So yung pinakaunang given there is 5 years and 7 months. Obviously, this is going to be the term of the loan. And then, we also have 16 and 3/8%. Obviously, nakastate din sa problem na iyon yung simple discount rate. So, therefore, that's going to be our D. And then, for the proceeds, it's going to be 12,500. And for the required, or the value that we are looking for, that is going to be the amount of the loan, which is going to be our F. So, let's write those down. For T, that's going to be 5 years is equal to 5 years and 7 months. Tapos, yung discount rate is going to be 16 and 3/8%. And then the proceeds is 12,500 pesos. And then for the required, so required natin, that's going to be F. And also, let's try to see if okay na yung mga values na ating gagamitin para sa formula. So, as you can see, it's still 5 years and 7 months here. Yung 7 months, kailangan din natin siyang i-convert into years before we plug those values doon sa ating formula. So, yung kailangan na natin i-convert is yung 7 months. So, we could do that. Of course, it would be equal now to 5 plus nung ating 7 over 12 months. Or now in years, or 7 over 12 years, or 7 divided by 12 years. So, let's try to find that one, yung 7 divided by 12. So, ano yung 7 divided by 12? 7 divided by 12 is 0.5833. So, 0.5833. So, it would be now 5.5833. But by the way, you could actually use yung naka 7 over 12 months as well. You just transform this one into improper fraction kasi naka siya na kailangan ganun yung value na gagamitin natin, so that isa lang yung value na ating i-use doon sa ating formula. So it would be now 5.5833 years, but you could also make use of this one. And then also, for the discount rate, hindi tayo pwedeng mag-use ng nakaganito na naka-mixed number pa siya. We have to come up with its either yung improper fraction niya na value, or yung naka-decimal form na value niya. So, let's go about yung na lang, yung naka-decimal form, so that it would be calculated easily. So, 16, that's a whole number. We don't we make use of that as it is. Yung 3/8 na lang. Ano yung value ng 3/8 in decimal form? So, yung 3/8 natin is going to be 3 divided by 8, which would give us 0.375. So, that's going to be the value that we add with 16. So, it's going to be 16.375%. And then, we're not done yet because this is still in percentage form. We are going to divide the whole thing with 100, so that we come up with the decimal form of our percentage value. So what we are going to do is move 2 times to the left dun sa from our decimal point. So it would be 0.16375 yung decimal value, or yung equivalent na decimal value ng ating 16 and 3/8%. So we're good now with the values of our given. We could make use of this one na to find our F. So, for the formula, I think we could use na lang yung ating formula for the proceeds. Again, the formula for the proceeds is P is equal to F times 1 minus dt. As you can see, meron lahat tayo nito. We have the proceeds, we have the discount rate, we also have the time. So we are just going to do algebraic manipulation so that we could isolate F. And that would be the formula that we are going to use to find yung ating value ng F. So, for this case, we are going to divide both sides with 1 minus dt. So, if we do that, maka-cancel out itong entire thing, itong entire binomial expression. Now, it would just give you yung ating formula that we could use, which is F is equal to P divided by 1 minus dt. And then we go about na sa computation niya. We move on to the computation or head on to the computation. So if we do that, we make use ng F is equal to P divided by 1 minus dt. And then, yung P natin there is 12,500 divided by 1 minus yung D natin, which is 0.16375. And then, multiply it by our term, which is going to be 5.5833. So, we do the values first on the denominator, those in the parentheses. So, 12,500 divided by the value ng 0.16375. So, 0.16375 times nung value nung term, which is 5.5833. 5.5833, which would give us 0.914265375. So we could just have 0.9143. Could make use of that. But we could also write everything, no? 0.9142, or make use of everything that we have there to make it na near to our exact value. So 0.914265375. 5375. So 0.194265375. And then continuing on the solution, so it would be now 12,500. Tapos ima-minus mo lang ng 1 yan. So i-minus natin to ng 1, it would give us 0.085734625. So, let me write that down. It will be 0.08573, 0.085734625. Yan. And then, what is going to be the value? So, it would be 12,500 divided by 0.085, 734,625. 734,625. So, that's 12,500 divided by 0.087534625. And then, as you can see, we have now the value. Yung value natin is 145,798.74. So we could have that. It's going to be 145,798.74 pesos.